Today, we're taking a deep dive into what happens when governments get hit by massive cyber attacks, and then decide that the best thing to do is just say nothing at all. Just think about this for a second. Your bank records, your health info, pretty much your entire digital life, it's all stolen by hackers. You're waiting for some kind of official warning, any guidance on what to do next, but all you hear is silence. So why on earth does this happen?
Well, this whole phenomenon actually has a name: secretism. And to be crystal clear, this isn't some accident or a simple PR mistake. Nope, it's a deliberate, institutional strategy. It's all about downplaying, delaying, and just flat out denying the truth. The government's reputation gets prioritized over your safety.
And this isn't random either. It actually follows a playbook. A lot of security experts call it the protocol of silence, and it has some very, very specific steps.
Okay, so here's how it works. Step 1. Minimize the story. A massive national crisis gets relabeled as a simple informatic incident. Step 2. Delay telling anyone. Basically just crossing your fingers and hoping the whole thing blows over. Now, because they refuse to even confirm the breach, it leads to Step 3. Legal paralysis. The data protection agencies, their hands are tied. And finally, the biggest mistake of all, they silo the information. They don't even warn other government agencies that they could be the next target.
And this is where it gets really dangerous. The security legend Bruce Schneier puts it perfectly. He says this secrecy creates a huge security gap. While the government is staying quiet, the bad guys are busy using your stolen data, leaving millions of us completely defenseless. So where is this protocol of silence being put into practice? Let's take a quick world tour and look at some real-world examples from the front lines of this digital war on truth. Our first stop is Uruguay. And what's so wild about this is that Uruguay has a reputation for being pretty solid on cybersecurity, at least in its region. But somehow it's become a living, breathing laboratory for how this protocol of silence works and, how it can fail so spectacularly. So picture it. The year is 2025. A hacker group steals 700 gigabytes of sensitive data from a major state bank. The official response? It was just a little technical informatic incident. That one dismissive phrase was enough to paralyze regulators and leave other state agencies wide open to attack. The end result wasn't just a data breach. Experts are calling it a bankruptcy of public trust. All right, let's head over to Argentina and see how this pattern continues. Over there, secretism has led to what's been described as institutional mutants, all while the country is under what you could call a digital siege. Get this. In 2026, a single breach exposed over 8 million citizen records. And we're not talking about one agency. We're talking 28 of them. The central bank, ministries of health, education, security, you name it. Health files, national IDs, disability records, all of it, just out there for the taking. And the official response to this absolute train wreck? Nothing. Total silence from the top. The only thing people heard were whispers from inside government that it was just old data. I mean, that is narrative minimization on an industrial scale. It's a complete dismissal of the danger that 8 million people were suddenly in. Our last case study takes us to Mexico, where things take another dark turn. Here, secretism isn't just about being quiet. It's about actively fighting a narrative war. Officials discredit hacker groups who expose corruption by painting them as nothing more than common criminals. So these examples from Latin America are pretty stark, right? But they actually fit into a much bigger global picture. Turns out, when you look at how the world handles cyber crises, there are really two big and, frankly, flawed models that dominate the scene. So on one hand, you've got the Western hygiene failure model. In places like the US, the goal is transparency, at least in theory. But in practice, secrecy often wins out just because of bureaucracy and, frankly, some pretty basic security slip-ups. On the other hand, you have the authoritarian model of Russia and China. For them, secrecy isn't a bug, it's a feature. It's all hardwired for systematic control and surveillance. But wait, there is a third way. In the European Union, transparency isn't just a nice idea, it's the law. Regulations like GDPR mean organizations have to report serious breaches within 72 hours. And the fines for not doing it are massive. So as this analysis puts it, silence is not really an option. Okay, so let's get to the core data here, the world ranking of secretism. And this is what blew my mind. Uruguay is number 1. It actually beats out authoritarian states like Russia and China. Why? Because its protocol of silence is so deeply baked into the system, it's practically official policy. Russia and China are right behind, of course, with their state-mandated control. You can see Argentina is near the top 2, and then way down at number 11 is the United States. And that lower score reflects that hygiene failure model we talked about. It's flawed for sure, but not systematically secret in the same way.
But here's the hopeful part. Wherever the state creates a vacuum of truth, new figures are rising up to fill it. And this has sparked a kind of counteroffensive, led by a brand new type of hero, the digital dissident. So what is a digital dissident? Well, it's an expert, often an ethical hacker, who uses radical transparency to fight back against all this secrecy. When the state won't give you warnings or support, they become a sort of psychological CERT, like a citizen-led emergency response team for our digital lives, offering the help the government won't. And this brings us to the core conflict, right? It's all about perception. The state looks at these people and sees criminals, a threat that needs to be silenced. But for a lot of citizens and other security pros, they're digital knights. They're the essential narrators of truth in an age when official sources have gone quiet. At the end of the day, this isn't just about hackers and governments. This whole battle over secretism has huge implications for the future of our society online, and maybe even for the future of truth itself. So why does this matter so much? Well, think about it. A government that hides a data breach today is the same one that will roll out powerful AI systems tomorrow without any public oversight. This culture of secrecy starts to erode truth itself, turning it into just another thing to be fought over in a narrative war. And ultimately, when the state fails to protect you and then lies about it, the social contract that holds our digital age together, it just breaks. Which really leaves all of us with a fundamental question. In this digital age, when your entire life is on the line, who are you going to trust to keep you safe? The state that chooses to stay silent, or the dissident who risks everything to tell you the truth?